we've had a couple of days to digest the trade deadline. Are we rebuilding, doing a retool, or something in the middle? Let's get into it.
Whether you've enjoyed what Craig Conroy has done, whether you think he got fair value for the players that he traded or not, you got to give him credit on one thing. He did what he said he would and traded the guys who didn't want to be here. And there's only one remaining pending unrestricted free agent, and that would be Oliver Shillington, and that's fine.
Yep.
So there's that.
I suspect we're going to re-sign Oliver, I'm assuming. Hopefully nothing too serious, probably close to what he's been getting. I feel, his play has been good since his return. It's obviously a short sample size, so we'll have to be careful with that one. I think I feel like potentially he owes us a bit of time. I don't think we need to double his salary or anything like that. Let's get him back in and see what he can do with a full season behind him.
Yeah, I'd be comfortable giving him maybe a $3 million, $3 and a bit. Not much more than that though, and probably only a couple years, right? I've been impressed with what he's been or how he's been playing, I suppose. He's been playing better defensively than he ever has, which is great. We kind of covered that on the last episode. And he's still got that offensive flair and that Bambi on ice skating ability, which is entertaining to watch when he's actually playing defensively sound. But it sounds like there's some pretty good gratitude going on from the Shillington camp. So hopefully that means they're going to sign him and he's not going to ask for a ridiculous contract.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure he understands what's going on there as well. So I can't see it being, I'm guessing 3 times 2 and then
something like that. Yeah.
Bit of a prove me contract. And then, if it warrants after that, then sure, let's do it.
Prove it. And thank you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But let's get into some of these trades. So we already kind of did the Lindholm trade. I don't really know if we can count that as a trade deadline trade because that was, a month and a half ago now. But we can start with the Tanev trade if you'd like.
Yep.
So we got Chris Tanev going to New Jersey originally, actually. So they could retain 50% salary. And then they traded him to the Stars. We end up getting Stars prospect Artem Grushnikov, who is a 20-year-old physical 6'1", 185, 6'1", 198 guy who's got another 2.5 years left on his deal at $814K. So that's not too bad, actually. Hoping that he turns out to be something, but we also got a second round pick and a conditional third that the condition is if Dallas advances to the Stanley Cup Finals this year. I think they've got a relatively decent chance, although there's Vegas, Colorado, even maybe LA, like the West is going to beat the absolute crap out of each other. Mm-hmm. So it's really anybody's game in the West, I think. What do you think of that trade?
I think. I mean, it's okay. I I feel like keeping 50% of Tanev's salary warranted more of a return. Um, and I also feel that there could have been or would have been more teams calling for him. So I feel like if Dallas wasn't the one to give the return, I feel like there were other options there. But I mean, it's tough. It's tough to say, right? I mean, he's an older player. He's physically abused, even though he's still a warrior on the ice and will stand in front of a moving truck to stop the puck.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that one to me is fine. I give Craig maybe a B plus on that one.
Yeah, B plus. Like,
Yeah.
apparently the Skrushnikov kid has the potential to be like a poor man's Chris Tanev, kind of a little bit more physical, but apparently he really likes to lay down in front of shots and is pretty defensively sound in the AHL. So that's good. Hopefully he pans out. Hopefully we get that third round pick too, and that makes it better. But honestly, I want to get into this a little bit because there's been lots of rumors that there's been rumors that a couple of teams gave us or had a first round pick on the table, but in order to do that, we would have had to have taken a multi-year bad contract. For instance, the Oilers with Cody Ceci is the only one I really knew which player that they had offered, and it was Cody Ceci, who's got 2 years left on a over $3 million deal. And I think he's just a really bad player. I don't want anything to do with, even if we're trying to lose, I'd rather try to lose by having Yan Kuznetsov or Ilya Solovyov or Artem Grushnikov or somebody playing than a bloated contract. And I mean, it's going to be a late first round pick from Edmonton probably anyways, right? Like I don't care, and they weren't going to give us a prospect, right? So what do you think of that?
I think I feel a little bit different than you. I don't mind bringing the contract back for. Does he have 2 after this season?
I think he's got 1 after this season. Let me check.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's only one season left, and I feel like 1 season of a bad contract would have been worth getting that first, because right now the pick that we have is going to be 30 players later or or more kind of thing. I suppose it all depends on what Gruzhnikov ends up being, right?
Yeah.
He's 20,
so yeah,
20 years old. He hasn't played any NHL minutes yet.
Yeah.
But
apparently he's been playing fairly well in the AHL. And of course Craig is going to say that he's had his eye on this player for a while, even if he hasn't, because that's what you say, right? But yeah, Cody Ceci is at 3.25 for another year after this one, so till the end of 2025. I do think that the late second and the prospect, that's two lottery tickets, and the late first is 1, right? Like, I don't think the end of the first round is supposed to be that great this year, so I think it's kind of a crapshoot. But yeah, I know, I can see what you mean. I have no problem. It's got nothing to do for me with the Edmonton thing. I don't care if they send somebody to Edmonton if Edmonton's going to give us the best deal possible, right?
Yeah.
I just don't think that stunting the growth or giving other young players time, whether again Solovyov, Kuznetsov, Poirier, Grushnikov, Mirmanov, whoever, cycles in and out of that. I'd rather have those guys developing, getting sent up and down, but actually having a spot when they get called up than having Cody Ceci. And getting the prospect and getting the second as well, plus a conditional third. So I see where you are coming from. Obviously, it's a first round pick would have been nice, but
yeah, I think because next year, I don't know. Do we think we're gonna sign Gilbert? Because he's up for renewal as well, right?
I think he's had a decent year, but I think he's had a bad. I kind of missed the last couple games because I am unable to watch matinee games generally on Saturdays because of my work schedule. But before that, I thought he hadn't played very well. He probably didn't even play in those last two games, did he?
Yeah. I agree. He's had kind of a up and down season. He started quite well, and then he kind of dropped off a bit, and then he was
he got hurt.
He was away for a bit, and ever since he came back, I feel like he's not the same player.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean is what it is, right? He's what 26, 27, and I think he's one of those guys I wouldn't mind having on there. He seems like a team guy, and I just like to have toughness on the back end. So so it's hard to say, right? Like our D, obviously in the last couple of games looked horrendous, but so did everything else. Like the whole team was just out of sorts in both those games against Florida and Carolina.
All the reports I've heard is that it was a good couple games for me to miss, but I don't like missing games. But all right, well, I as far as Gilbert's concerned, I'd take him or leave him. Like I don't mind him, but I feel like there's 15 Gilberts in free agency, and there's also some kids coming up. Like whatever.
Yeah.
If we sign them, great. If we don't, whatever.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this Hannafin deal. So obviously there was a little bit of salary retention from the Flyers as well, but we end up getting Daniel Miramonov, who is apparently a power play specialist at the AHL level. I think he's 26. And has had limited games in the NHL, but he's to be fair, he's been stuck behind players like Vegas's blue line is stacked. Shea Theodore, Alex Pietrangelo, Nick Hague, blah blah blah. We'll just keep going. Alec Martinez, keep going. So he's been relegated to trying to cover for when there's a bunch of injuries and stuff. Now I don't have a lot of high hopes for him. He kind of sounds like he's a Goss Despair or D'Angelo type, maybe not being a piece of shit like D'Angelo is, but just as far as kind of has some defensive mistakes. You don't really want him out there all the time 5-on-5, but he's supposed to be pretty dynamic with the puck. And we got a third round pick, conditional third round pick in 2024, which becomes a second if the Knights win one playoff round this year. So I'm guessing that's a second round pick. And then a first round pick, there was a bunch of conditions, but those conditions are already settled. So it's a first round pick, unconditional first round pick in 2026, which a lot of people were upset about because it's a couple years down the road. Personally, I like that because I don't think the Vegas Golden Knights are going to be as good then as they are now. They'll probably still be good, but having an unconditional pick in 2 years also helps when it comes to spreading out prospects, RFA years and ELC years and all that type of stuff. So I don't mind it. I didn't really want us to get a bunch of first round picks this year. I kind of wanted to spread it out anyways. So I'm not upset over it. I do think we probably could have gotten a little bit more from Hannafin, but apparently him and his agent kind of hijacked the process, according to multiple insiders. According to Hannafin and Eric Francis, he did not. I do not believe that, but whatever.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most bizarre condition I've ever heard of. You can have next year's first unless we decide to use it between now and 2 days from now.
Mm-hmm.
That's asinine. I don't understand how that's even possible. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
How does the NHL allow that?
Yeah, I find that pretty fucking ridiculous. Obviously, they had already been talking to San Jose because they ended up using that in the Hurdle trade. Again, having an unprotected first in 2 years is better than having a top 10 protected first next year, in my opinion. But I agree with you as far as
I think you fall into about the 0.4% that thinks that Vegas is going to be within the top 10 in picks next year.
Well,
I think that's
again, I
ludicrous
said
to
I
even
don't
think
think
it.
they'll be horrible. I just don't think they'll be as good. So
Yeah.
chances are it's going to be a 15th or 16th overall pick, not a top 10, but it's still better just in case.
Yeah. I didn't buy into that as far as the protection at all. I don't feel that there's any chance that Vegas is going to be or would have been drafting in the top 10 next year. But I still think that condition is really doesn't sit well with me, and the fact that Craig signed on for that is just mind blowing to me. I mean, it's good. I mean, we got rid of the player and all that fun stuff, but
I'm not so worried about next year with that pick. I was saying more that I think that 2 years from now, Vegas is going to be worse than next year's Vegas. So we're probably going to get a better pick out of it, in my opinion.
But I mean, like once you exercise your right for a condition, it's pretty goddamn rare for that pick to be protected after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that part. I wasn't worried about that in any way. I don't think that would have even been a possibility to have it protected if the first scenario played out. Anyways,
that's a really weird scenario. I'm with you on that.
It's a stupid scenario, and I mean, I'm glad Hannafin's gone. I'm glad that's done. I give Craig a lot of credit for getting rid of the UFAs like he said he was going to at the beginning of the year. So I'll give him that credit. I just feel that he got hosed in a couple of these. Whether we got hosed on the Hannafin trade because Hannafin and his agent were going around our backs and talking to other teams saying, you can trade for me, but I'm not signing with you, that sort of shit. I mean, if that is truly the case, I think there needs to be discipline on that. Personally, I mean, you can't tamper with trades, right? Teams
You've
aren't allowed
got
to do it, so why are players allowed to do it?
you've got an 8-team no trade clause that you negotiated when you negotiated your contract.
Yep.
Honor that.
That's right.
That's the way I look at it.
That's right. You know, if Craig was trying to send him to one of the teams on that list, and he's going to Noah asking if it's okay, then fine, veto it. I get that.
Yeah,
But
and that's
if a
well within
team
your
is
right.
not yeah, absolutely. That's why that clause is in there. But anything outside of that, I think is horse shit. And I agree with you. I don't believe it for a second that he didn't, because those reports started coming out 3 days before that trade happened, and I think that it was I was appalled.
Yeah,
I'm,
I want to give Conroy credit on something.
okay.
Again, I thought we could have probably got a little bit more out of another team if we were allowed to trade him there or whatever happened. But I'd like to give Conroy some credit when it comes to not giving in to sending Hannafin exactly where he wanted to go, because that sets a precedent for future negotiations, trade negotiations, and future contract negotiations with other players that he's a pushover. But because he didn't send him to Tampa, which was widely reported to be his preferred destination, and where apparently he already had a contract that he was ready to sign with them, an extension. It could have been really easy once things started getting really tough with the negotiations, with the trade negotiations. It would have been really easy for Craig to just be like, "Yeah, we'll take that package from Tampa," but he didn't, and I think he's proven to me that he's a lot more tough, a negotiator, and a lot more sensible, and a lot less buddy than I thought he was going to be when he first got the job. You can go back and look at our podcast from last summer. I think both of us were fairly concerned that he was going to be somewhat of a pushover and just way too friendly about everything.
Yeah,
and it doesn't seem like he is. So credit there.
I want to know what that deal was with Tampa. I mean, I don't think he had an issue going to Vegas at all. That's where his best friend plays. So
Yeah.
I feel like if it wasn't part of his first choice, it was definitely a close second. I think
It was definitely in the top 3 or 4, right? Like there's no question. But I mean, he does not have a contract signed with Vegas now, and it was reported that he had a contract ready to go with the Bolts there if he was going there. So that says something to me.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's even gonna stay. I think he's gonna go probably to Tampa in the off season or somewhere else. Especially after Vegas got Hurdle, like I don't think they're gonna have the cap space to sign Noah Hannafin. So we'll see.
No, I feel like it's hard to say, right? Is Mark Stone gonna call it quits after this year, or
that's very possible too.
Well,
I said that last year and I was wrong. So
that's true. But I mean, he's taken this year off anyways, basically, right? Until the playoffs.
I don't know. Hasn't he played like 50 games?
Has he played that many?
Yeah, something like that. He's got a lacerated spleen though, so I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be there for game 1. He might be there for the second round or something, but there's going to be lots of players who are there for game 1, but I feel like he's not one of them.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll see. We'll see what ends up with the Mark Stone saga, right? I know.
Pretty amazing that guy plays such good hockey considering he has like a degenerative back disease and I guess now a lacerated spleen among all of the other injuries he's had in his career.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a rough one. So yeah, he has 53 points in 56 games.
So he's played 56. So he's played like almost all of the games then. Because what are we at? Like 65 or something? 67?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hockey games move fast. But with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you can score faster than anything happening on the ice. This week, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app with code THPN. New customers bet just $5 on the NHL and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE NY 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2024. All rights reserved.
Well, those are the two big trades. Let's go on to some minor ones. I don't know if you have any idea who Riley Damiani, I believe is how you say it, is. But we traded Emilio Pettersson from the Wranglers to the Stars for Riley Damiani, who is a center. Pettersson can play center, but I think he's mostly played wing. And I feel like this is just like a minor deal that kind of two guys that need a fresh start. I don't think either of them are really going to be mainstays on any sort of NHL roster anytime soon. Maybe the odd call up and waiver fodder for most of their careers.
I wonder if his name came up in the
Tanev trade,
in the Tanev conversation.
You know, that makes sense because, I mean, I know that they were likely trying to go after, some of the centers because the Stars have a ton of center depth on their roster, and then they have, they have so much center depth on their roster that they have 5, maybe even 6 top 6 centers, which doesn't make any sense. Because so many of them are playing wing, such as Joe Pavelski and Wyatt Johnston and some of the other guys. But so it makes sense that the Flames were after one of the minor leaguers from Dallas. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just
clearly just a lateral move, right?
Yeah,
a deal for the sake of making one.
Mm-hmm. So, and I am going to murder this guy's name, but we got Nikita Ohukchuk, something like that, from the San Jose Sharks for a conditional 5th round pick. And the conditions is San Jose will receive the better of the 2 2024 5th round picks that Chicago owns. I don't know why it says Chicago, but there you go. One of our 1st round picks is going to Nikita Okhotyuk. I don't know. Do you know how to say it?
Okhotyuk sounds good to me.
Okay.
What site are you using for your trades there? Because the one I'm using doesn't show that one as being a conditional.
Cap friendly.
The cap? Okay. Well,
I actually didn't know it was a conditional pick either until I read it here. But Cap Friendly generally has their info pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I normally believe it if I see it on Cap Friendly. So
I don't know why it says Chicago's picks. Do we have some of Chicago's 5ths for some reason?
I I don't think so.
Yeah, I can't remember. Oh, maybe was that part of when we got Zadorov from Chicago? Maybe. I don't know.
Just right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see any fifth round picks from Chicago on ours. Or wait,
Well, that's a weird condition on there. Weird setup.
yeah.
Just trying to figure that out.
Anyways, that's a nothing thing. But yeah, as far as this defenseman is concerned that we got from the Sharks, feel like he's just like a sixth, seventh defenseman on our team. So yet another one, not old, but probably not super on the upside scale. But no,
No,
we
here's
need
what.
bodies. So
Yeah, we need bodies, right? 6'1", 195. Hasn't played any NHL minutes yet. Actually, yeah, he has.
yeah, I
No,
was gonna say
yeah,
I'm pretty sure he
yeah,
played for the Sharks for
yeah,
quite a bit this season.
yeah. You're right. He was drafted by the Devils in
Yeah, he was
2019.
part of the Timo Meyer trade.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. He's got 58 games. My bad, and 48 penalty minutes. So he's
There
probably
you
going to
go.
want to hone that in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Craig sure had something with the Russians, didn't he?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering what that was about. That like Russians, Belarusians, Kuzmenko, um, Sharangovich, this guy, Miramonov,
This
blah,
guy.
blah, blah, blah.
Can I just refer to him as this guy from now on?
Yeah, I'm
Good.
going to murder his name until I hear it said by Rick Ball at least 15 more times.
Yep.
Okay. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about any of the trades? Is there anything
No.
you see coming in the future when it comes to anyone who wasn't dealt that maybe should have been or might be or anything like that?
I still think they're going to end up trading Markstrom this summer. Whether I don't know that Jersey makes sense, but I feel like he didn't appreciate how things were handled. Obviously, during that whole conversation period, he not sure what exactly his problem was. I'm assuming he just didn't like the fact that they came and asked him if he would waive his full no move. But
And then change their minds.
yeah, or yeah. I mean, who knows, right?
Yeah. That's kind of what it sounded like. Again, I'm not an insider or I'm not Mark Schirm's agent or anything like that, but it kind of sounded to me like he was upset that the Flames, because usually teams don't ask if you're going to waive until they have a deal in place.
I just feel that's a stupid move personally. I would ask them if they're willing before I even start talking to teams. Like, why get that far in the process? Don't only go, oh no, he said no.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be like trying to go buy a house without getting pre-approved for a mortgage.
Yeah.
You get all excited, you're ready to sign the paperwork. Oh, damn it, I can't get the funding.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I think that I do think Jersey makes sense. I think that there's a couple other teams out there that the Flames could enter into conversations with. I mean, there's going to be some more goaltenders out there. Probably Swayman or Allmark are going to be out there for trade as well. So there's going to be a couple of at least fairly decent goalies out there. But every year there's a couple teams in the playoffs and a couple teams out of the playoffs whose goaltending really let them down. And it's very rare that there's a Markstrom or a Allmark or Swayman or anything like that out there for teams to go after. So I feel like you're right. Markstrom's probably going to get traded. I would not be shocked if Vladar also gets traded. In fact, I kind of think Vladar also gets traded or waived and is the minor starter, or gets claimed on waivers or whatever. They're just, and I kind of feel like whoever gets Markstrom is going to trade us their goalie. And I think it's going to be Jake Allen from the Devils, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Either way, there's that. And I also think Andrew Mangiapane, I don't think that his salary fits our team anymore. There's going to be a team out there who thinks he's great because of his analytics that he possesses due to playing with Coleman and Backlund. But I think that we have some players who are very suited to taking him over, such as Jacob Pelche specifically, I think is probably the best option for that. I hope you're alive over there because you just had a little coughing fit.
Holy, yeah. Nursing something here. I apologize.
You coughed so hard there. I got distracted and had to look at you.
I don't think that Mangiapane's contract fit the Flames the day it was signed, but that could be just a personal opinion.
Me too. I'm trying to like take my personal feelings for the player out of it. I just like, we have so many middle six wingers.
Yeah.
And we have so many players who are on their way to being called up or have been called up or are in need of more of a, more playing time, whether it's, a Pelche or Zari or Pospisil or some of the guys in the minors. And it, to me, Pelche plays such a similar game to Mangiapane without all the falling over. It just makes sense. I think him with Backlund and Coleman for the next couple of years would be fantastic.
I mean, he would learn a lot. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. Yeah. It'd be nice. It'd be nice if we can free up a bit of cap on that front. Because we've got Pelche, who's an RFA coming into next year. So obviously, I would suspect they're going to sign him and give him a bit of a raise. Probably somewhere around 2.5 maybe. And then we'll see, right?
Mm-hmm. Should be good. Probably won't be that long of an episode. I just wanted to throw out there too that the Flames are going into next year with, I believe, just over $20 million of salary cap space. I don't want them to go out into free agency and go pick up a bunch of players or even one player that's super expensive long term or really anybody long term. There's some guys who might be out there that I wouldn't mind seeing the Flames pick up on a short-term deal with the agreement that they get traded at the deadline. That happens often where teams will be or where free agents will want to come to a team where they get extra playing time and they'll ask to get traded at the deadline as a part of that deal to a team that they know is headed to the playoffs, or they're pretty sure is headed to the playoffs, so they can play their last season or two in the NHL on playoff teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, and that's within their right? I mean, these players play for, generally one reason only, and that's to win a cup. So, why not give them that chance?
Millions of dollars help too.
It makes it easier.
I'd put my face in front of some pucks for millions of dollars.
You haven't already?
Not for millions of dollars.
No, true. Just for the pure love of the game, my friend.
Yep. Just for the pure love of the game. Put my face in front of some baseballs for free too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, been there.
Yep. You got anything else you want to say? Quick episode?
Yeah, I think quick episode's probably the way to roll on this one.
Okay.
Are we gonna commit to Thursday, you think?
I'd like to commit to Thursday for those of you who are still here and listening. That is the Vegas game, correct?
Yeah. So
Chris and I are planning to do a live show after the Vegas game on Thursday. Would love if you join us. We'll share it on all of our social medias, which you should hop on and join, whether that be our Facebook page, at ArmChair GM _pod on X, all that type of stuff. Would love if you hop on. Also on YouTube, if you subscribe to us on YouTube, you'll hit the little bell. You'll get a notification when we go on for live shows or whenever we get a new episode out. We've been putting out shorts as well, so it's been a lot of fun. Would love if you share us with your friends and family and give us a like and let us know how you feel.
That's right. It's going to be a lean couple of years, Flames fans. So
let's get ready.
That's what we've been asking for. Up. Yeah, this is what we've all wanted. We're going to try and get rid of this mediocre style of play that's been hindering the Flames for the last couple of decades. So it's going to be fun. I promise. Till next time, everybody. Go Flames.